Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Recipe Redemption. Today, we're diving back into the market of mystery to show you an ingredient that you may not have heard of, but which I'm sure many of you would really enjoy. And it's called Huitlacoche. I have seen this on the shelves at Walmart before, and I'm certain you can find it at your local Hispanic grocery store. Or if all else fails, the internet provides. Huitlacoche is also known as corn smut. Stop that. Basically speaking, a smut is a fungal infection of various cereal crops. And in this case, the fungus invades the ripening corn kernels and grows galls that soon take over the entire ear of corn. The name is derived from the Nahuatl word for the disease, indicating this has been known about since corn was first cultivated in the Americas. One can imagine when corn was first domesticated, that infestations of this fungus were vigorously stamped out. Until one day, some intrepid soul, possibly someone suffering from an entire field infected with this fungus, decided to see if the corn was still edible with this fungus on it and realized it was actually delicious. Now, because there is an actual demand for Huitlacoche, entire fields are intentionally inoculated with the fungus, and it's allowed to grow unchecked and harvested for this niche market. I have to admit, Huitlacoche is not a looker. It is the horticultural equivalent of, hey, you guys, but just watch what you can do with it. These tacos are pretty simple, starting off with sweating some onions and a little bit of oil just until they turn translucent. Don't really need to saute them any more than that. To that, I'm adding my Huitlacoche, probably about, in this case, I'm making about 6 tacos worth, so about a cup of my Huitlacoche. And I'm just going to cook this long enough to cook all the moisture out of it. Oh, and some seasoning. I've had a little bit of salt and pepper, but also some taco seasoning that I've made up, which is just garlic powder, onion powder, paprika, cayenne, and a little bit of cumin. You can tinker with that if you want. And as I said, just cook that until the moisture is mostly gone, and then set aside. In a mixing bowl here, I have about 3 tablespoons worth of sour cream, and I'm going to thin that out with a little bit of cider vinegar, probably only about maybe a teaspoon. I don't really want this to be too soupy, so just maybe a teaspoon worth. And I'm seasoning this with tajin, which is a Mexican spice mix that is basically hot red pepper and lime. And just whisk that until it's smooth. And I meant to pick up some slaw, but I forgot to get it. So here's some chopped salad, but basically a slaw. And just toss to combine. In a saute pan, very familiar saute pan, got a little bit of oil, and I'm just going to fry my corn tortillas probably about 10 seconds, maybe 15 seconds per side over medium heat. I'm not really trying to crisp these up. I'm just trying to heat them up so that they soften and they're more pliable so that they'll actually fold without cracking or breaking. Once they've cooked, I will put them on some paper towels to blot some of the oil off. When all my tortillas are softened and ready to go, it's time to assemble my tacos. I'm going to use some, yes, this is store-bought guacamole. Just layering on some flavors here. To that, I'm adding my onion and Huitlacoche mix. A decent dose of it, a couple tablespoons worth. My slaw.
And I'm going to crumble on some queso fresco. And this is also why I didn't add a whole lot of salt in cooking, because the queso is kind of salty. Then fold over, repeat, and enjoy.
I won't make you suffer through watching me eat tacos. These, admittedly, were a little messier than I intended, but they were absolutely delicious. The Huitlacoche has a distinct flavor that is, unsurprisingly, a combination of mushroom and corn components. So it's a little bit earthy, a little umami, a little vegetal, with just a hint of the corn's original sweetness. Um, it is, however, also a little one dimensional. And I think it would start to get boring if eaten all by itself. I mean, just think of either sitting down and just eating a whole can of corn, or for that matter, canned mushrooms, because they came in a jar. They're kind of waterlogged, so um, they do have a little bit of a watery flavor to them, even with that water cooked out. So they don't do well just on their own, but in a taco, or I suppose like a quesadilla, and I'm sure there are other things you could do with it. There are a lot of other supporting flavors, and if you happen to be going a little light on meat for any reason, this can be a satisfying substitute for at least one meal. Obviously, if you wanted to go full vegan, you'd have to find some substitute for the dairy products, the cheese and the sour cream. And you'd have to check to make sure the tortillas aren't made with lard. But you're close. It can be done. Assuming that you had all the ingredients that I used on hand, um, total cooking time was about, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes. I didn't bother actually timing myself, but I think it was about 15 or 20 minutes. All I had to do was chop and sweat the onions, then cook about a cup's worth of the Huitlacoche to evaporate off the moisture, season it, and then briefly fry the tortillas to soften them up, and then assemble, and they're ready to eat. It's quick and easy. Uh, you know, some of the market of mystery ingredients and snacks that I've shown you over the years are really niche and hard to get a hold of. And so, while interesting, I can't say I recommend you go out of your way to find them. This, however, I can say is worth it. It's not that hard to acquire. And if you find a local source, now you know where to get it, and you can keep a jar or three on your pantry shelf for when you feel like a quick and easy dinner that doesn't come in a cardboard box, or include instructions that say something like peel plastic away from dessert. So, so what do you think? Willing to give Huitlacoche a try? Let me know in the comments below if you've given this ugly food with a beautiful flavor a chance. And as always, like, comment, subscribe, and share. And I'd like to thank you for watching. I'll see you next time here on Recipe Redemption.